goes through the Missouri State Highway Patrol Academy, Advanced Law Enforcement, and also through the Federal Reserve Police Academy in St. Louis, where they went over detentions and really, so, you know, it all depends what your situation is. Obviously, you don't escalate the situation, you keep it under control. I can tell you, at the courthouses at the courthouse in Franklin County, we work extremely close with the sheriff, with the bailiffs. The sheriff wanted us there, wanted us to do what we were doing, really set up a nice policy and procedures of exactly what to accept. We have cameras that we monitor of the courtrooms, and should one of the bailiffs be getting in trouble in a courtroom, one person stays there, the other person goes up to the courtroom. We have radio contact with the bailiffs in the rooms. We have radio contact with the judges. If the judge hits his panic alarm, we're aware of it downstairs. There's been times that somebody bolts out of the court, takes off because they know they're wanted, and they'll radio us to stop them downstairs, and we use whatever force we need at that point to stop them, because we were summoned by a police officer at that point, or by a commissioned deputy, to stop that person and to assist him, so we can do that. We take our job very serious, because we want to make sure that if something does break out in that courtroom, the only people in that courtroom that have guns and knives and whatever are the bailiffs that should have it. We do work very closely with the Sheriff's Department. Should they have any kind of person they're suspecting, they know of someone who is wanted that's possibly coming to court, they usually give us the description and a nice little photograph. As soon as they show up, we don't do anything but call one of the bailiffs. They come immediately down and take care of it. We have issues at the court clerk's office, often with the ex partes. What we do is we see two of the same, the petitioner and the respondent, both showing up in there at the same time. We usually can pick that out pretty quickly, and we'll separate the two. We'll tell one of them they can't go in until the other one leaves. We may hold them out in the lobby area, and when that one goes out, this one comes in. You know, we don't tell them they can't file a petition, but we definitely keep the two separated while they're in our building. We work very closely with Bill Miller, who is the court clerk, and all of his ladies there. No, we cannot immediately arrest somebody if they have a warrant. We cannot arrest anyone, but we can detain them on the request of someone.
What's your understanding of what? How are your officers armed?
How are they armed?
I mean, is it? Do they carry tasers? Do they carry weapons?
Our officers in Franklin County carry handguns. They carry pepper spray. They carry handcuffs. They carry a baton, and they're trained in each one of these. And they train with the sheriff's deputies. Every time the sheriff's deputies qualify, and that was part of our agreement with the sheriff, so he knew exactly how we're qualified and what to expect out of us. I think it's 3 or 4 times a year when they qualify, they put us right on the list, and we give the guys off and they go over and qualify and come back to work. So they're all, you know, like I said, they're commissioned officers or have been commissioned officers. Nobody carries concealed. Everything's out in the open. We wear police look-alike uniforms, if you would, but everybody is the people that work in the courthouses are definitely trained through the sheriff's office in Franklin County.
It's important to note that the question of liability came up as well. All the security companies, well, both the security companies we got proposals from, carry a full gamut of liability insurance. So I think one of the questions I asked Dave early on was, Dave, have you ever had one of your guys go rogue? Do you remember that question?
Yeah, I did.
And, you know, because that was my fear, that, you know, somebody might be having a bad day or suffering from the common cold and such great spirits. But the liability coverage that he carries, And we're named as an additional, will be named as an additional insured in the event. So if, in the unfortunate event that one of his personnel does something that incurs some liability, we're on his insurance primarily.
We work very closely with the judges also at Franklin County. Judge Wood was actually the one who pretty well set up everything. He decided exactly how he wanted it. And I don't know what you know about Judge Wood, but he's no games, no, you know, you screw up and you're going to be talking to Judge Wood. But we look at it as we're the first people they see. So we can either diffuse some things right there at the front door, and we have taken, and I'm sure the deputies here have taken away, we got boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff over the 8 or 9 years we've been doing it for Franklin County. And we've never had a major altercation with anyone, you know. We just basically, you either take it back to your vehicle, lock it in your vehicle, or you don't come in, you know. Or we take it and we dispose of it right away. Now that's something I'm going to have to find out what your guys' rules are and what you want us to do. But we're basically part of you guys. And the last thing we want anything to do is happen inside the building, that they've got past us and something happens upstairs.
I think the other question I raised was, what about outside the building?
Outside the building, on the premises of the Judicial Center, and I guess that's going to have to be, you know, pretty well spelled out where it's at. Now, if it's a crime that's happening in our presence, we can intervene. Okay. If it's a crime that took place somewhere else and they brought it there and they're going to tell us about it, obviously we're just going to get on the phone and call the sheriff or the city police and have them take care of it if it's something. But if it's a crime that's taking place, if somebody goes out, we've had guys go out the door and slam the door open and knock over the trash cans on the way out. We just stop them and we call one of the deputies down, and they usually have words with them, and you know, they decide if they're going to send them on their way or what they're going to do with them. So again, we can't serve ex partes. At this point, when there's an ex parte to be served, they usually call one of the deputies down, the bailiffs down, to do it at the bar. In your case, I guess if no one's in the building, they would call them next door and get somebody.
So if someone is unhappy with what took place in the courtroom and walks outside and picks up a rock out of the flower bed and starts pounding on the hood of a car out in the far end of the park.
Now, as long as he's on the property,
right,
we can do something with it. If he leaves the property, exits the property before we can get to him, we can't pursue him through town. Okay, we're not going to jump in our car and take off after. We can't pursue him once he gets onto the city properties, you know, city streets. We can't. We got to stop. Yeah. What we really, I always say, just take good notes, be a really good reporter, and get the information to the police. And I mean, in a town this size, I think we can probably have police that are within 5 minutes. And 5 minutes is a long time if you're getting the crap kicked out of you, but you know, other than that, you know, and our guys, none of our guys have ever gotten in any major. We do security all over the place, and we do wineries in the county, in St. Charles County. We do big fair, you know, major fairs and stuff, and we know our limits and know where we can and can't. But our job is to protect the people in that building, whether they be visitors to the building or whether they be employees of the building. Our job is to make sure they're safe and the building's safe. So we make several rounds throughout the day, around the outside of the building, around the inside of the building, just to make sure someone didn't. We've had a couple of pretty good high-profile cases where we get there earlier in the morning than everybody else and go through the entire building and check it. We work very closely with the deputies and with the sheriff.
Customs Security is also willing to, in the event you have a court case run over, as long as the front door of that building is open, they will be there to provide security to that door. Now, once the front door is closed and locked, and if you want to stay until 9 o'clock in the law library, I don't know if that's a situation where you have security now, right? But, you know, that's probably not something that you're going.
As long as there's something in the courtrooms, and you gotta have the door open for the public to come in and out, we'll do that. And we do that pretty regular now. There's late court cases or jury trials and stuff that go on, so.
But ultimately, the hope is to staff these two positions with someone from this area.
We're looking for local, and you guys, and as I told Commissioner Culver, you guys will have the ultimate say. If I'm looking at someone to hire them, and I've done all the background work, and I've done everything, I will